Reservations in Recovery. Let's get into this.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Reservations in Recovery. That's what we're talking about today. A reservation, guys, check this out. This is good stuff today. A reservation is when we plan, we give ourselves the right to use again in the future. We could be in recovery, but there's thoughts that come upon us that we have, and we're making plans. We're giving ourselves the excuse to get high again down the road. Now, this just doesn't sometimes always just come out blatantly at us. It's in our thinking. You know, okay, give you some examples. We're in recovery, we go into recovery, but we don't get rid of the drug dealers' phone numbers. We don't get rid of the people that's in our phone that we know are toxic. So we hold on to that because just in case I leave recovery, I got my contacts. In case I want to go get high, I still got my boy because he got the best stuff and he gives me them killer deals. See, it's stuff like that. It could be even this, sitting around telling yourself, if something ever, like, okay, if I ever lose my mother or a loved one, man, I know I'm gonna get high. Or we could tell ourselves, if I ever lose this husband or this wife, or if I ever go through a divorce, or if I ever go through a financial collapse or whatever, it's these things, guys, that we have in our mind, and we say to ourselves, that's giving us the right to use down the road. You see the setup there? The thoughts are here today telling us that if this happens, it's giving myself the excuse to use. And guys, that's what we have to be really conscious of. That's why I always go back to our thoughts and what we're thinking. And we got to be in tune to what we're thinking. We can't be sitting around reservations fantasizing about getting high. You know, I remember, and you know, we used to kid and say, hey, if I ever got $1 million, a couple million or whatever, what would you do? And I remember, man, I was so drug infested in my mind. We used to talk like that, and I said, man, I'm gonna get me a mansion, and it's just gonna be me and a bunch of women, and we just gonna have dope all in every room, or everywhere you go, you can take. That was the craziness. But thinking like that was giving me reservations, because now I'm fantasizing about getting high. And guys, we got to know we can't do that. When we make the commitment to recovery, it's got to be recovery or nothing else. We can't sit around and fantasize. I learned it's going to make it will be the catalyst that takes us right back to them streets. Reservations are very detrimental to our recovery. If we don't, let's understand this. Reservations can come, but it's what you do with the reservations. You see what I'm saying? It's things like these, guys. It's the addict's biggest problem is in his mind. I didn't get that from nobody but myself. Okay, let me rephrase that. My biggest problem is my mind and my thoughts. If I don't rein them things in, wherever my mind go, you can best believe I'm going. And that's what I learned over the years. God began to show me. You have to have a renewing of your mind. You have to know, when I'm thinking like this, I can't just, a thought come, I can't just be like, oh, that's nothing. I got to be like, man, why am I thinking like this? Where'd that come from? You see what I'm saying? And we got to know what to do. So reservations come in the form of any thought that gives you the right that if something happens down the line, it's okay for you to use. There's many people that have went through recovery that have had a loved one, lost a loved one, went through a divorce, lost a job, maybe had been diagnosed with an illness, and they never picked up. You know why? Because for one thing, they didn't make reservations about, if this stuff happened to me, I'm going to use. Because the truth of the matter, life is going to show up in many forms to us. But however it shows up, it doesn't justify us having reservations to use again. And that's what we have to understand. Nothing can come up in my life that's worthy of me using again. And that's where we have to be on this thing. So, okay, now, what do we do when we realize, hey, I got some reservations? When you realize you've got reservations to use again, fantasizing, thinking about, well, if this happens, I'm sure gonna drink again. I'm gonna get high again. Things like that, and that could come in many thoughts, guys. You just have to know when it's setting you up for down the road. But when you find yourself having reservations, what do? First thing you do is when you realize you're having reservations, write them down. Write them down. I know. I'm not a writer either. I hate writing. But you got to do this. Write them down and then find somebody you trust. It could be a sponsor. It could be a counselor, therapist, church member. Find somebody you trust and discuss these reservations. Because we are only as sick as our secrets. And if we got all this stuff festering in our minds and we ain't getting that stuff out, best believe, pack your bags. We going back to Cali. Yeah, we going back. If we hold on to all of this stuff and don't sit down and write this stuff out and talk to people about it, going back. The history shows it, proves it for my own self. So guys, you want to write it down, talk to somebody that you trust about these things, and you got to understand this, guys. You are not alone. People that are experiencing significant years clean, whether it be 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, I would say 99% in the beginning of their recovery had reservations at some point. Because sometimes we come into recovery and we just don't know a whole lot of things. We don't know it's really, I shouldn't be thinking like this, because we might tell ourselves, it's just a thought. But one thing you got to know in recovery, thoughts will take us there. And when we realize our thinking is off, that's why we got to be so in tune with our thoughts. Because the mind is the addict's greatest enemy. And when he doesn't have control over his mind, he's going to do what his thoughts tell him to do. But we want victory. We've got victory. And we want victory over that. Because we've been controlled by our thoughts for so long. Our thoughts whatever comes, we do. We never really had control of our life. The proof is in the pudding. But guys, I come to tell you, when you begin to get control over your thoughts and get control over your life, man, it's a blessing. I was out there for so long, I didn't know who I was. I didn't even know what color I liked. Seriously, man, that's just how out there I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know nothing about me. All I know is let's go get some dope. That's all I knew. By any means necessary. And I thank God that I'm experiencing the freedom, and you can experience the freedom too. But guys, it's videos like this, it's information like this that helps us along the way to not fall into the traps and snares. And we can do this. But it takes some effort on our behalf. God moves and he delivers us. But we just don't sit back and say, okay, God, do what you got to do. No, it's some things we have to do because God is faithful. Truth of the matter is you already delivered. But it's things we have to do. We have to work to keep this thing going. Amen. So guys, just remember when you realize you're having reservations, write them down. Find somebody to talk to. Don't keep them secrets in you. You'll be packing your bags, going back out there. And just understand it's a process. It is a process. But make sure you talk to somebody when you're having reservations. Because we're as sick as our secrets. And sometimes our secrets can make us really sick. So hey man, I hope this blessed you guys. Please give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, make some comments. If this video has blessed you, please make some comments and just let me know. Just nice to hear from you guys every now and then. So hey, you guys be blessed. I'll see you on the next one and stay motivated, my friends.